Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Tips from an Expert. I am Leah Feltz, and I am Iowa State Extension and Outreach's social media specialist. I am going to bring in a special guest here shortly, but I want to let you know a little bit about what to expect. So we're going to spend some time hearing from our expert today about reopening your business. We are going to be discussing some of the support she has available and just some of the best practices that our experts have provided for Iowa's businesses. And all throughout, feel free to throw all of your questions, comments, anything you'd like for us to review in the comments, and we will make sure to get to those throughout our time. So let's meet today's expert. Lisa, welcome.
Hi, Leah. How are you?
I'm doing well. Why don't you introduce yourself? Give us a little bit of idea of who you are.
Hi, I'm Lisa Bates. I am a field specialist with Community and Economic Development. I do a lot of work around communities with different groups of other professionals across the university, mainly focusing on issues that are community-based. So a lot of things that I work on deal with retail and local businesses, and that's a lot of our focus for today as well.
Awesome. Before we jump into it, how are you? How has working differently been?
Yeah, working differently is key. Working from home, so that's taken a little bit to get used to, but been going pretty well. I'm a little worried today because we have construction going on outside, so fingers crossed everything will still be up and running for this podcast. Yeah.
Yes, that is definitely the hope.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get going. We're going to jump right in. So tips from an expert, and today our topic is reopening your business. Take it away, Lisa.
Great, thank you. So one of the key communication is key for today. We're talking with employees, with customers. We want to make sure that this is something that you see throughout this presentation today. So how do you communicate with them? What do you need to communicate with them? We're going to give you some tips and ideas for that. We can go on ahead. So let's think about, what do you have to do as you're reopening? Through the governor's office and the Iowa Department of Public Health, they've been pretty clear with how businesses can reopen. It means 50% maximum legal occupancy at most. So that's your maximum of number of customers that you serve at a time in your store. This is determined by your local fire code. So if you're unaware of this, you might want to turn to your local fire code and check out what is the legal occupancy that you can have at this time. Retailers need to follow guidelines from the Iowa Department of Public Health and the governor's office. These things include such things as practicing social distancing. We need to, again, limit those number of customers maximum. We need to increase our hygiene practices, our cleaning practices, and we also need to share these with our customers and our employees through signage. You can move forward. So how can you creatively reach customers? We need to think about how can we reach our customers and our employees about how are we keeping our stores safe. It's one of those things that's really important right now as we're all kind of figuring out how to get back into our communities, into our stores, into our restaurants, and really take a look at getting back into life a little bit. So again, we're reducing our customer capacity so that we have more room in our stores to move around. We can keep our social distancing. We can also do such things as implementing curbside pickup, or if you've had curbside pickup when your store was closed, maybe you want to keep that open so that you are able to service those customers that maybe are a little more worried or at higher risk for COVID-19. You may even consider implementing some appointment-only business times. This again allows you to be more creative in your customer service practices. It may also allow you to serve those customers at higher risk, but they're still able to come in and explore your store. They're still able to interact with your merchandise, and it might give you a little more chance to be working one-on-one with your customers. And you also want to make sure that you keep up to date on any changes that the governor's office, the Iowa Department of Public Health, also see as pertinent to what is happening with the COVID-19 crisis and how is that impacting our local businesses. So you can go ahead. So how do we look at storefronts in a part of our retail business, but also as a part of making sure that COVID-19 communication is key? Now, we always want to make sure that our storefronts, our entrances, our signage are all in communication with our brand. We want to make sure that our retail image is key within this and that it's consistent throughout. So some of the ways that you can integrate COVID-19 is through your storefront. So make sure that you're consistent within your storefront. Keep the storefront simple, make sure your entrances are clean, and make sure there are key signage points even before a customer enters. So the entrance is a really great place to put signage up that interacts with your customer, letting them know what are the procedures and what are some additional news and procedures that you have and processes that you have for not only how your employees maybe interact with the customers, but how the customers can interact into your store. You can move ahead. Now, floor plans and your layout and your merchandising all go together. So you have to start to think about how safety and the comfort of your customers and your employees are key at this time. So not only are you there to sell merchandise, you want to make sure that customers can view your merchandise. You want to make sure that they have the time to interact with your merchandise, but you have to make sure that they keep that 6 feet distance. And this is why you may need to reduce the capacity of your customers to below 50%. This means that you would have fewer customers in the store at a time, but they're allowed to peruse your merchandise, interact with your employees, and get a better customer service experience. We want to also make sure that we understand how to place merchandise around your store. So not all floor space in your store is of equal value. So think about where you have the most traffic in your store. Think about when the entrance, when your customers enter, you want to make sure that you have those high margin items or those new items at the storefront so that customers are really excited to enter the store. They're excited to see the new merchandise, and you're able to make more purchasing decisions at that time. Also start to think about how you put merchandise together. So start to think about opening up displays and having specialty items such as end cap displays, or even thinking about putting different merchandise together as form as complementary goods. So that maybe customers start to see how they may put together different items, whether it be grocery items for a recipe or clothing items and accessories that all go together that they get excited about purchasing from your store. You can move ahead. So we've really started to see how a lot of businesses have had to become very creative in how they have closed their physical stores, but remained in contact very creatively through this pandemic. And so we want to go over a few of those ideas for you because we want to make sure that you maybe still implement these ideas. These are great ways to either encourage additional shopping in your stores, more people to your restaurant or your activities that you host at your stores, but also to make sure that if we have another COVID rise, we don't know if that means our stores may have to be closed again, or we may have to adopt different practices. So this is the time really to start to think about what is best for my customers, what could I do to reach out to them, and what might they be interested in as a part of extra services or just as a part of what I do on a daily basis in my store. So one of those is increasing your web presence. So make sure your website is up to date. Make sure your customers know that you have a website, what you communicate on that website. And if you have any social media, make sure it always has a link back to your website. That way you can keep in communication with your customers, even if your store happens to close. And it's an easy way for customers to be able to keep in contact with you. You can also think about sending updates about your store via email. If you don't have your email of your customers, you might want to consider making a list of those, asking customers when they come in if they'd be able to, sign up for your emailing list. Maybe you offer a one-time discount to sign up for emailing. But then that's a way you can also keep in touch with your customers, send them any updates. Maybe there's new merchandise, maybe there's a new practice that you're trying out, and you get them involved in that way. You want to also make sure that you communicate your safety plan, your safety processes, both to your customers and to your employees. So everyone is on the same page at how do we deal with COVID-19? How do we deal with this new reality? And how are we keeping everyone safe as they enter our store? You can go ahead and move forward. So how can we continue to grow even though it seems that it's really hard when we're reduced to capacity and we don't have the chance to maybe see as many people as we did. People are still cautious at going out. People may still be a little leery at shopping. Well, what can you do? We have some practices here, implementing online shopping. So you can implement this through either your website. You can also think about, how would I implement online shopping? Maybe through social media. So we've had some different companies that have used Facebook to post new items, to do how-to videos, and also do such things as offering different services, such as delivery, curbside pickup. Those things have all been communicated to their customers. They're new services that maybe you can take a look at offering and be able to make sure your customers utilize those so that they feel the most comfortable, but still able to shop at your stores, shop for your merchandise, and take advantage of some of your knowledge that you can share with them. You can go ahead and move forward. And restaurants, they're a very special category. Still, always trying to figure out what are best practices for restaurants during this time. Some things you might consider while you're still at 50% capacity or under is online ordering and delivery. You can do this via your own delivery service. If you don't have the capacity to do your own deliveries, there are many services out there that you can look at and see if is it right for your restaurant to partner with those businesses to do delivery. You can think about also implementing curbside pickup as well as other retail stores. Restaurants can do this as well. You can have your menu be online and just have your customers call in even. They can either order online or call in, pay for it via phone, come to your restaurant, text you when you're there, and you can deliver it right out to their car without the need of a service for delivery cars. And the one great little thing that restaurants have been doing during this time is also thinking about cocktails or mocktails. So their specialty hour kind of ideas, they can continue to do that, and we'll see if that changes in the near future as more restaurants are opening, according to the governor's office. We can move ahead. Now, retailers, restaurants, and other store owners can all do things for themselves, but also communities as a whole can start to support their local businesses. We have a couple ideas for this, and there are a lot of ideas out there that you can learn from and maybe try to implement in your own community. One of those is really looking at not only social media based for individual businesses, but doing that community-wide. So how can social media come together, support our community as a whole? One of those was the Great Gray Tea Project, and that was where a local t-shirt store was doing some specialty t-shirts and allowed the proceeds to go to that particular business that the logo t-shirt was ordered for. So that allowed some support during the time of COVID and allowed people to really show off that they were shopping local and they supported their local retailers. Communities can also look at, how can I advertise and support my local stores by doing gift cards? So you can become, as a community, a one-point store stop for gift cards. So how can you shop at one website to be able to buy gift cards for all your different stores and be able to support your retailers in that way, whether you're looking at shopping for yourself or you're looking for gifts for friends or family. Okay, we can go ahead. We also have a great podcast series. It's called Back to Business Iowa. It covers a wide variety of different topics that businesses can learn from and take into practice themselves. They are available on a website, our website. We can also look at Spotify and Apple Podcasts for those. They come out weekly. There are so many that are really of interesting topics to all types of businesses. We also have some of those podcasts in Spanish as well as English. So if you and your community have different needs, you would want to take a look at that website and also take a look back, because those will be continuing to be updated as well. You can go ahead and move forward. And just a reminder that Iowa State Extension, we always have research-based resources available for you. At Community and Economic Development, we have specific COVID-19 resources. Some of those I touched base on today are small business best practices. So those might give you some inspiration to look at how you might implement some new practices in your own business to be able to take a look at how do I serve my customers even in the hardest of times. We have Retail Ready to Reopen COVID-19 resources. This takes a look at what are those guidelines that you need to follow in the state of Iowa to reopen, and that helps you make decisions for your own business. Retail Design Best Practices, that those really are about not only best practices during COVID-19, but retail best practices overall that deal with the design and physical aspects of your store so that your retail customers have the best experience possible and you get the most purchases out of each square foot. And then we also, again, have those Back to Business Iowa podcasts, which I, again, encourage you to check out, take a look at the wide variety of topics, and keep checking back for the different topics that get updated weekly. You can move forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. So we're going to go over some questions and allow some time if others start filtering in through the comments. Again, if you have any questions for Lisa or any clarification we can offer, throw those in the comments and we'll make sure to get those addressed. Again, thank you for sharing with us today. Having documents is so valuable, but sometimes having that face and that voice share the information can also be really comforting to us right now.
Yeah.
So as a consumer myself, so much of what you said resonated and was like, oh gosh, yeah, if a storefront did really promote the ways that they're working right now through this crisis, that would cause me to interact with their business differently. So so much of that just seemed to resonate with me, and I hope others find that as well. I noticed some screenshots in our PowerPoints, and I want to make sure that you kind of toot the horns of those establishments that you've seen do some really innovative things right now. One of them was a live music venue. Can you just share a little bit more about that, what they're doing?
Absolutely. So Lefty's Live Music, they had to completely shut down during COVID. They can't have, their regular business. They can't social distance either. It's really difficult with their type of business. So they were conducting concerts through social media and delivering cocktails at the time as well. So you can get that same type of experience, that same type of community that they do on a regular basis, but through this new kind of alternate path. Yeah, that sounds fun. Pajamas and a concert, that absolutely.
Works for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was another one that was a grocery store, a screenshot of a grocery store and some of their social media.
So that would be Cecil's K Hometown Market. They always provide updates. They offer grocery delivery, curbside pickup. And they've also done something really great where I think this could be done with any retail store. They offer a map where customers can look at the map of the grocery store, the location of their products, and be able to make their shopping list from that so they can go and be very efficient and get their shopping done.
That's smart. And the map, if I'm remembering, was hand-drawn, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
so it doesn't have to be fast.
Yeah, you don't have to have some graphic design degree or anything. It's just doing the best you can with what you have, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. And then there was another restaurant that we had a screenshot of, and they're online ordering, I think.
Yeah, that one was the Cornbread Restaurant. That one is actually located in Ames, where I'm located. And we actually have used this a couple times where you just phone in your order, and they do a lot of specials. So they did a special for Mother's Day. They did a special for Easter. They'll probably do one for Father's Day, I assume, as well. And you can order one of those specials just over the phone, pay for it. When you get there, you set a pickup time, text them, they can bring it right out to your car. Super easy.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I've got just a few questions, and then we'll see if others roll in. So the question would be, what are ways I can communicate with my employees aside from sending mass texts or emails that could possibly go unread, or if it's a mass text, might get really annoying with a bunch of notifications popping up?
Yeah, and I know we've all been inundated with a lot of emails, a lot of communication about COVID. And sometimes it just starts to fly by because we just can only handle so much. When talking to your employees, I think you always want to make sure that if it's possible, meeting in person, doing small meetings with them, talking through the process, talking through the procedures, and making sure if they have any questions that there aren't any miscommunications. So in person is great. If you also can then follow up with signage. So as long as the employees see the signage, they already know what the procedures are. They know that now customers see the procedures as well. And those signs can be also posted around different areas that also remind customers and employees of procedures throughout the day.
Yeah. We've used on our team some other platforms, like one is called Slack, and it's notifications that you can do similar to almost texting, but doesn't give you the middle of the night random text from your insomniac coworker. Or creating, if your staff are all on Facebook, you can create a private group where you can post and have notifications, making sure that you, like you said, that you're still trying to create as much of that personal touch as possible, because we really are experiencing some communication errors that can happen because we're just not seeing each other face to face. Awesome. Thank you for those. Let's see. What are some best free or low cost ideas for storefronts, floor plans? You referenced a lot of those things, but a lot of businesses are experiencing maybe a tighter budget right now. So what are some things that you can think of that are low cost or free for the storefronts and layouts?
Yeah, a lot of the ideas I think that we come up with at CED are a lot about sweat equity. So it's a lot about time and just planning ahead a little bit, maybe getting inspired by other stores to implement some ideas yourself. So for storefronts, consistency. So making sure that whatever your brand is, that it's consistent throughout your storefront, making sure that your signage is consistent, but it's also not overly done. It can become too complicated. It can become harder to read. So make sure it gets your message across, but it still is able to be easily read by those that are walking by, but also by those that are in a car, that they can see what your store is and be able to understand what's in your store by also what's in your windows. So look at your windows as a great place to keep the intention of customers and potential customers by rotating those regularly and making sure that you highlight some of your new merchandise by placing those at how people enter. They enter your store, they look straight ahead, and they go to the right. So looking at your high margin new items straight ahead and to your right. I'd also really want retailers to take into consideration, we don't know what the future is right now. And so starting to take a look at their business practices. We have support on our COVID-19 resources for businesses and their business operations, as well as in the podcast. You might want to take a look at those and take a listen to some of those podcasts. Those will help you really start to take a look at what is my business operations? How might I need to adjust for some of those as I move forward with the unknown being really high right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be putting some links in the comments for the COVID-19 resource page as well as the podcast.
Great.
And I'm like, my mind's blown right now that I do walk into a store and turn right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, I'm so predictable. But that's like, whoa, that's crazy.
That's
now I'm going to be like,
shoppers.
that's crazy. I'm going to go in and I'm going to purposely turn left. I'll run into a wall half the times, but I'm going to buck that system for sure. Yeah. Oh, that's too funny. So, okay. So those are some good reminders and things that can be low cost or relatively free for our business owners. What are some new opportunities that businesses maybe could be experimenting with right now, as they might have different amounts of time on their hands that they might not previously have had? What are some key things that they should really be making sure that they're investing their time in?
Yeah, independent store owners are very busy and they're stretched all the time. If you have some extra time, start to take a look at making sure you have a good foundation of your business operations. So you have that business plan, you're able to adapt as needs change. Another thing I would say, start to tap your toe into is social media and start to take a look at how you can connect with your customers. You might want to make sure that before deciding which social media platform you go to, what are your customers using at the time? where and how can you connect with them? So are they using Facebook? Are they using Instagram? Would they head to your website only? How best to reach them? Talk to them, see what they would like to see. Would they like you just to text some of them when you get new merchandise in? So it might not be even something that you do for every single customer. It might be some of your best customers that you want to target that way. And then start to take a look at, you have a lot of knowledge as an independent store owner. Share some of that. So can you do some how-tos? Could you do a fashion show online? What are some ways that you can get your knowledge out to your customers and let them know what kind of experience they'll have in your store when they're ready to come?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And again, my job is social media. So I do spend a lot of time on social media. So I've actually been able to see a lot of places and businesses that I follow experiment and try some new things that have turned out to be something that has been very successful that I think they'll probably stick with long term. I jotted down a few things that I have seen some small businesses do, and I want to share them, and then you jump in with any additional thoughts or anything that would go along that line. I've seen a couple clothing businesses do some VIP groups. So they have their social media page that anybody can like. It's open to the public, but then they have a separate group that you can ask to join. And it's that VIP, that very important person group. So right away, you feel special because you're in it. And then they post special deals there. They're a lot more up to date. They do a lot of live videos where they do the fashion shows, like you just said. So that could be something for some of those small businesses with attire or home goods, those type of things. Have you seen some stuff like that pop up?
Yeah, I have. I think anytime you can make your customer feel very special, I think you take that chance and you try it out. Whether that's be through deals or they get the first chance at merchandise, that could be, enough for people. Letting them know how to put different outfits together, letting them know what special new season is coming up and what is in fashion. A lot of people don't have a lot of time to shop. And so just doing that extra bit of customer service at any time that they could, go online and see it is a great opportunity.
Yeah. Another really good one that I saw in a local business was a different themed boxes where you can do this all online, and it can be they did Mother's Day boxes, they've got baby shower boxes, all these are like I miss you boxes, or even a surprise me one where you can just order it for yourself and you can pick your price point, you can give them a little idea of content you'd like, and then they fill it up and they'll mail it out for you. And I have been hesitant to jump back into shopping inside of a store. So I've been able to send baby shower gifts and Mother's Day gifts and birthday gifts and things like that just through this online platform, and never have to risk leaving my home if I don't feel comfortable with that right now.
Yeah.
Have you seen other things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the key things you talked about too is not feeling comfortable right now, but still wanting to support your local businesses. So give people the opportunity to do that. Those themed gift ideas are great. We have a local tea shop that partnered with a local candy and chocolate shop, and they did theme boxes to have an online tea party.
Oh my gosh. Yes. That's really cute. I would totally have bought into that.
Absolutely. And they would ship that to you. They would allow you to do curbside pickup, however best. But, look at partnerships too in your local area. Are there other businesses that you can partner with to do some of those specialty boxes, or maybe to cross promote each other, help each other out, get people excited about your merchandise?
Yeah. I think the partnering is an awesome idea too. One other thing that I want to share that I've seen that seems to work well for some businesses was they're doing like kind of a weekly update that they pin at the top of their Facebook page. So on a Sunday or Monday, they kind of give like, a state of where we're at, and they do hours. They do update on, if they have those at-risk hours for shoppers, and then just kind of any little update. So, and that changes every week, which allows me as a customer to be able to check in before I would think about possibly going to that store to know, what do I need to know? Has anything changed? And providing that real time, not just a post that they created a month or so ago, or even 2 months ago at this point. I've lost track of time, so I don't remember how long, I don't remember how long I've been inside, but it feels like a year, I think. But yeah, just those timely updates. Are you seeing that happen, whether it's through social media, or what are some other creative ways that timely updates can be shared with the communities?
Yeah, I think one of the highlights there was on time or timely, not letting them go sporadically. That allows your customer to really know how you do business and when to check back. One of the best practices for social media is don't worry about it being a perfect post, just do a regular post. So making sure you put that in your calendar for whatever you have to do for your business, that social media becomes a part of it. Another thing to really take into consideration, again, is your customers. How do they receive data? How do they receive information? I work at Iowa State. And
they receive information.
How do they receive information? How do they want to learn about things in your store? How do they want to make sure they keep in contact with you? What platform best meets their needs? And, meet them where they are. That's hard to see more and more online shopping, but people still want to support their local retail. They want to support their local communities. They know that it's important for their local community, and they want it as part of their well-being. And so give them that opportunity by, testing a few things out at first, and then keep moving towards some of those creative ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah, and people support people. So posting, when you're going to post something, an update or anything, make sure if you are on a social media platform, use a photo, people respond to that. And it can be you and your kids, or it can be your feet walking into the front of the store. Get creative with those images. It doesn't have to be your face if you don't want to take a selfie or whatever. But yeah, the photo and the post go hand in hand for sure. And people interact with people. So even especially right now, seeing your face or seeing your hands doing something in your store or your restaurant, those are the things that people will really connect with.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we're going to kind of wrap it up, Lisa. And we're going to throw on the screen your contact information. If anybody wants to follow up on anything you've discussed, they can find you here. Also, again, we have links in the comments for some of the resources that we've discussed, and you'll find our handles for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for both the community and economic development branch that Lisa works in, as well as our main extension and outreach platforms where you can continue to find research-based resources for your needs. So anything you want to leave our audience with, Lisa?
I think now's the time, again, to just try some creative ideas out. Look at what other businesses might be doing in your community. Look to support each other and give it a shot.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Well, stay well and stay in touch as best as you can. And we look forward to hearing from you guys in the future. Have a good day.
Thank you.